So, what it do, everyone? This is JQ215. This is podcast number one. So, thank you for all the support out there. Getting closer and closer to reaching almost 1,500 subscribers, and I'm excited. It's fun, and I just want to thank everybody out there first and foremost. Now, today's podcast, guys, today's podcast is going to be what you've seen, what you've heard, about what's going on with the police officers in Minneapolis, I believe. And the fact that there was police brutality and George Floyd then later passed away. Guys, I truly believe in Black Lives Matter. I truly, and of course you're going to hear people out there say all lives matter. The reality of it is, yes, Black people, African American people, whatever you believe is politically correct to say, they are not treated the same as everyone else. Now, the reality of it is, you are in control of your own destiny. You are in control of the outcome of your situation. So don't put yourself in situations, right? And that's what the argument normally is all lives matter. It's happening to everyone. It's not just Black people. Guys, if a Black person and a white person walks down the street, and there's a police officer driving by, at the end of the day, yes, Black people are looked at a different way. They're mistreated right away. If the Black person is in a wealthy neighborhood, they get pulled over. The police officers, I don't know. Now, what I don't like to see is for everyone to put police officers in this one bubble of they're all racist, they're all prejudiced. You are who you were raised to be. That is it, regardless of your occupation. So, no. All police officers are not like this. I consider my brother Ted one of the most kind, loving, and equal people out there. My sister-in-law is a police officer. I have good friends out there in Philadelphia that are police officers. If you were raised a certain way, then that's the way you are. If your parents raised you to look at Black people like, oh, let me cuff my person, let me be careful, then that's who you are. That's the reality of it. If you don't like Black people, it's because you were raised that way. So when you see a white police officer with his knee down on a Black man that is not resisting, and of course that's police brutality, it wasn't because the Black man was dangerous. It was because that specific individual was raised to treat people that way, was raised to mistreat human beings. In my eyes, there is no Black, white, Hispanic, Asian. In my eyes, they're all human beings, and we should all be treated as such. And that's what we failed to realize as a society. It has nothing to do with your race, your color, anything like that. For years, for centuries, Americans were raised to treat Blacks as slaves, to treat Blacks as beneath us, when the reality of it was, America was scared of Black people. And you've seen it. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Jackie Robinson story. They didn't mistreat the Black man because they wanted to just mistreat him. They were scared. They were scared of what it would be like in the future and what that would do for the future. They were scared because they knew at one point or another, Black people, Hispanic people, the minorities will be the superior race. And that's what our world is built upon, fear. I watched, and I apologize because I do reference a lot of movies, right? But I was watching Django Unchained. And Django Unchained, there was this one part where Leonardo DiCaprio says, I believe he did say it to Jamie Foxx, and he said, the black community back then, the population outnumbered, I would say, white people at that time, because they were the dominant race. They outnumbered them. And there were black people who were, he was talking about how his daddy was, getting a straight razor haircut 3 times a week. And he failed to understand, why didn't that man just slit my daddy's throat? And it was fear. And that's when you think about some of these police officers who have power, it's all fear. If we do enough to scare these individuals, to scare these black people, then we'll continue to be the dominant, superior race. And I just want everybody to understand, everyone is not like that. That is not the way everyone has been raised. But there are people out there that have been raised that way and mistreat human beings alike. Hispanics, black people, Asian people, they mistreat them. So when we talk about even somebody as high on the totem pole as our president, when he continuously says China is the problem, man, that's just the way he was raised. He was raised that way. People just don't wake up and say, I want to be a racist. Or people don't just wake up and say, I want to be prejudiced. They don't just wake up that way, guys. That's years and years of grooming. So when you see somebody and they're acting a certain way, look at their parents. That'll tell you a lot about them. That'll tell you who they truly are, because that's the way they were raised. Now, when we talk about police officers, yes, police officers take an oath to serve and protect. But then police officers are, in most cases, fulfilling orders. And when I say orders, I mean there have been numerous situations or interviews or articles about police officers and what they say about their captains, commissioners, and how there's a quota to write tickets and there's a quota to put minorities in prison. Prison is the new slavery. And what's sad about the prison system is that it's privatized. You can buy stock in prison. Isn't that crazy when you think about it? Modern day slavery. And it's sad, man, because there are so many people out there in power, African American, Hispanics alike, other minorities, Asian, Indian, that are in power that can help stop this. And then you see people who fight for prison reform like Meek Mills, Sean Carter, Jay-Z, also known as Jay-Z. Like, you see these people fighting for this stuff, fighting because of social injustice. Colin Kaepernick, when he kneeled down, it was because there was a platform that everybody was watching. And I've seen the meme out there already where it shows the police officer kneeling down on George Floyd. And then you see Colin Kaepernick kneeling down on the field. And it says America only has a problem with one of these. All I ask is that we don't stir it up. Because, guys, you're not going to get anywhere with violence. You're not going to get anywhere trying to instill fear in the system. The system isn't going anywhere. The one thing we can do is vote for the right people that put those people in power. I'm not too big on politics, but from my understanding is when somebody becomes a mayor or a governor, they have a choice to put someone in, like the police commissioner, in place. So when you think about all of these injustices, a commissioner can change that. But the reality of it is we're in a corrupt system, guys. We're in a corrupt system, and the U.S. is a corrupt system. And the reality of it is this system has been corrupt for years. And it's not going to change overnight. It's not going to change with violence and hatred. It's not going to change quickly. But it can. I truly believe that it can. It will take time, but it can. So what I want to kind of tell everybody is, one, just like you don't want all black people to be stereotyped as violent criminals, gang members. You don't want all the police to be stereotyped as racist and dishonest and corrupt, because that's just not the way it is. Everybody isn't the same. Everybody's raised differently. So you got to realize, you got to understand that. And that was big. You know, the fact that George Floyd passed away, man, it's sad, man. It is really sad. I'm sorry, guys. One moment. It's sad. It's sad the way these things happen. And I applaud those individuals out there that pull out their cameras, record, and show us this. Because without us visually seeing it, we don't think there's a problem. Now, on another hand, I will say this. Pay attention and stay woke. I haven't even heard anything about coronavirus in so long. And when I say so long, I mean like a week or so. The media is in full control. So for those of you out there, and I will say this, those reporters, those anchors, those news people, the cameramen out there, you're spinning stories to make people get into an uproar, to forget that there's something else happening out there. I don't know what it is. I'm not at that pay grade where I know that something's happening or what it is. Well, I know something's happening. I don't know what it is. So when stories like this come out, no difference from Ahmaud Arbery and how he was gunned down by those two individuals, you see how the story changes. We go from fighting for Ahmaud Arbery to now fighting for George Floyd, and I haven't seen a post about Ahmaud Arbery anymore. For all we know, those two gentlemen are not even in prison anymore. I don't know that for sure. For all we know, that these police officers were terminated with their pension probably. Think about that. Think about them murdering someone and still getting their benefits. Still reaping the benefits of the taxpayers' money. Think about that. I don't know. I'm just spitfiring here. A lot of this is just my perspective. This is JQ215's perspective. And now, I would love for any of you guys to get down there in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you believe this was murder? Do you believe racism played a part in this? Do you believe all police are equally treating people this way? What do you believe? That's what I want to know. What do you believe? Thank you, guys. This is Jose's first podcast, and I cannot wait to bring you more, and I cannot wait for my wife to get on board with this as well. This is JQ215. Thank you for stopping in, and please share this. Thank you.